Do you know that mermaids are actually mentioned in the Bible? Let me tell you what one of the most important missing books from the Bible reveals about mermaids, and why throughout history there have been countless reports of what many people believe to be a mythical creature known as the mermaid. These beings have been documented in many ancient civilizations, each culture calling them by different names. However, all of them describe almost the same physical appearance. So we have to start asking ourselves, how real are these creatures? And when we look deeper, we can find the answer, because there is a hidden book that was once a part of the Bible that talks about mermaids and who they truly are. Let me explain. Over 2,000 years ago, ancient biblical scrolls were discovered in caves near Qumran. These scrolls are known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. They contain sacred texts that we still recognize today, such as the Book of Genesis and the Book of Isaiah, among others. But there was one book that had been completely kept out of the Bible for centuries, a book that was hidden from the public eye for a long time. This mysterious text is called the Book of Enoch. This ancient book expands on topics that the Holy Bible doesn't fully explain, including descriptions of heavenly beings, fallen angels, and even mystical creatures like mermaids, which I'll be talking about here. Enoch, the author of this book, was Noah's great-grandfather, so his writings hold a major place in biblical history. Yet the modern Bible does not include this book. The Book of Enoch answers many of the questions people have about the events and mysteries mentioned in the Holy Bible. And even though many Christians believe the current books of the Bible contain all the truth, they should understand that the Book of Enoch was discovered alongside the same sacred text that we already have. Those in authority decided to remove it from the canon, but that doesn't make it any less valuable. In fact, its exclusion might mean it contained knowledge that was never meant to be public. Now let's take a look at what this book actually says about mermaids. The Book of Enoch speaks about a mysterious group of beings, and these beings are the reason behind the creation of what we now call mermaids. The story begins with a group of angels known as the Watchers. These angels descended to earth and had relations with human women. This forbidden act resulted in the birth of the biblical giants mentioned in the Book of Genesis. If you've heard of the Watchers before, you may know that their actions had great consequences. The Watchers, the Nephilim, and the women who were involved with them all faced punishment for this unholy union. The Watchers were imprisoned in a place called Tartarus. The Nephilim were destroyed by the Great Flood. And the women who were involved with the angels were cursed. They became what we now call mermaids. 1 Enoch 19:2 says, "The women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens." The word sirens can be interpreted in two different ways. In Greek mythology, sirens were half bird and half human creatures that lured sailors with their beautiful yet deadly songs. However, the same word siren can also be translated as mermaid, a half human, half fish being. Over time, the word siren became a general term for mermaids, specifically those known for singing hypnotic songs that draw men into the sea, leading them to their deaths. There is even a modern TV show called Siren, which is entirely about mermaids. Originally, according to ancient beliefs, mermaids were human women, which is why many movies and stories portray them as women who can transform. That's because, according to the ancient texts, their original form was human. However, since they are cursed, they cannot return to their full human nature. In fact, according to first-hand reports and folklore, these beings are not nearly as beautiful as movies make them seem. They are often described as horrifying, with pitch-black eyes, sharp teeth, gills on their faces, and webbed fingers. When we study the Bible more deeply, we see verses that support the existence of these beings. One verse even describes how the oceans will one day disappear, suggesting that the sea might be linked to something unholy. Revelation 21:1 says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea." This may mean that God sees the oceans as impure or corrupted, possibly because they are inhabited by demonic marine spirits, the same entities that ancient people identified as mermaids. Now that we know these creatures are mentioned in ancient texts, it becomes clear that these aquatic humanoid beings may have survived the Great Flood. Their natural habitat is water, which would explain why there are still so many sightings even today. Many first-hand accounts describe these creatures as demonic in nature. They lure sailors and fishermen from their boats in the middle of the sea, However, they aren't limited to the oceans. People have claimed to see them in lakes, rivers, and other bodies of water as well. Mermaids are often referred to as marine spirits, and their existence has been documented for thousands of years. Thousands of ancient civilizations, from Egypt to Mesopotamia, left behind depictions of fish-like humans. There's even an old Egyptian painting showing a battle between humans and aquatic beings. Coincidence or evidence? Ancient texts describe them as having psychic powers, like telepathy, communicating directly into the mind, and hypnosis through song. They could lure entire ships off course without speaking a word. One of the most chilling modern accounts tells of a woman who encountered something she'll never forget. She was swimming in a lake during a family picnic. She climbed onto a rock to rest, and suddenly the world went silent. No wind, no birds, no laughter. Out of the still water rose a figure, a woman's face with black almond-shaped eyes. It stared at her and spoke without moving its mouth. "I can make you jump into the water." Frozen in terror, the woman refused to move. The creature looked angry, then disappeared beneath the surface. Stories like this exist across the world. People who vanish near lakes or seas after hearing mysterious voices. In some cultures, seeing a mermaid means great fortune. In others, it's a sign of death. And in many ancient traditions, these beings are known as marine spirits, entities tied to witchcraft, lust, and destruction. So what if all these stories are not legends? What if they are fragments of a forgotten truth? Evidence of a curse that started thousands of years ago, when angels disobeyed God and humanity paid the price? The Book of Enoch gives us a clue, and maybe that's why it was removed. Because if mermaids are real, then it means the stories of the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the rebellion in heaven were all true. The question is, why hide it? Why remove the book that connects our myths to our faith? Could it be that the truth about what lies beneath the ocean was too terrifying for the world to accept? So next time you stand near the sea at night and the waves whisper your name, remember what Enoch wrote. The women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. Maybe mermaids are not myths after all. Maybe they are the living proof of an ancient curse, a warning left beneath the waves, a reminder of what happens when heaven and earth collide. If you've ever experienced something strange in the water, share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And if you want to explore more hidden truths and powerful revelations from the Book of Enoch, you'll find them all here on Epic Truth Seekers.